welcome everyone back to this week's R&R Audio Podcast. I'm your host, Highway Howie. We're getting ready for a start to a new year here at R&R, and the safety department would just like to go over a few areas to ensure all our drivers get off to a good start. So, we're dedicating this to compliance, safety, and accountability, CSA, as we all know it by. Here's the good news. Our drivers rarely get hazmat violations at R&R. The simple reason for that, R&R drivers are well-trained and they know what they're doing. Now, that comes with a little bad news. Currently, our CSA vehicle maintenance numbers at R&R are edging up. R&R had more equipment violations in October and November than were reported for any other two-month period in 2015. Now, we all know vehicle maintenance is a key factor for our success at R&R. This is where your thoroughness and vigilance comes into play as a professional driver. Remember, the DOT inspectors are not there to be your friend, but safety is a friend to all. It's important to the DOT, you as a driver, and to R&R as a company. I got to tell you, those DOT inspectors are very good at what they do. Their primary goals are to find violations, make sure motor carriers get them corrected, and to ensure all of us stay in compliance with the federal motor carrier safety regulations. We are excited to have on the show with us today David Vargyas, Assistant Safety Director for R&R. Now, David, this is your first time on the show. I just want to say it's nice to have you here today.
Thank you, Howie. It's great to be here.
You heard my lead in there, and I mentioned increased number of violations that had come in for the months of October and November. So let me start by asking you this. Why are vehicle inspections so important?
That's a really good question, Howie. The number one reason is safety. Safety for our drivers and safety for the motoring public. Another reason is it's a DOT requirement. The DOT says we have to inspect our vehicles. A third reason is lost time due to breakdowns. There's nothing more frustrating to a truck driver than to be sitting on the side of the highway. This will help prevent that. And finally, being prepared for the inevitable DOT roadside inspection.
David, now that you've had an opportunity to outline the reasons why it's important for all R&R drivers to perform vehicle inspections, I guess my next question is, when should vehicles be inspected?
The DOT requires commercial vehicle operators to inspect their vehicle at the beginning of every driving shift, at the end of every driving shift. Every time they stop the truck and get out, they need to inspect their vehicle. So they're going to do many, many inspections each and every day. And I would also like to remind our drivers that anytime you inspect your vehicle, it has to be logged on duty. Make sure the DOT knows you're doing your inspections.
Now, David, can you summarize the areas that need to be inspected?
They should always inspect the things that apply directly to the safety of the vehicle. Tires, wheels, all the vehicle lights, those two things alone will get you inspected quicker than any other vehicle failure that's out there. But other things that should be inspected are brakes, airlines for air leaks, engines for leaks and fluid levels. Check your wipers, check your fifth wheel, your kingpin, emergency equipment, horns, and any shiny nuts and bolts that shouldn't be shiny.
Now, I understand there are plenty of other gotchas that DOT inspectors look for, such as reflective tape at the top edge of the mud flaps on the tractor, a small blob of fifth wheel grease that may have fallen on an axle housing, and something as small as low or no windshield washer fluid. I'm sure there are many others. As an R&R driver, where can I find a list of all those items and details needed for a vehicle inspection?
We've made it really easy for our drivers, Howie. If they go to their Qualcomm device and look up Macro 32, there's a list of all the safety-related devices that they need to inspect each and every time they inspect their vehicle.
So after the completion of a DOT roadside inspection, it's my understanding drivers need to immediately inform R&R. Can you touch on this a bit and any other things our drivers need to remember to do?
Yes, Howie. The first thing they should do at the completion of a roadside inspection is send a Macro 31, and they can tell us whether there were any violations during that roadside inspection or if there were no violations. Either way, we want to know. And I would also like to remind our drivers that if there are maintenance violations, they also need to send a Macro 32, which is the daily vehicle inspection report. I would remind them that roadside inspections must be logged on duty. As always, if they have any questions, they need to get on the phone right away with the safety department, and we will help them as much as we can. And the other thing I would remind our guys is that, and our gals, is that the thorough daily vehicle inspections ensure that the driver and the vehicle are always ready for any DOT inspection. These DOT inspections, they can happen anytime, anywhere, and we really want you folks to be prepared.
Now, David, I guess some drivers might ask with regards to performing a vehicle inspection, what's in it for me?
Well, Howie, it really pays for our drivers to be prepared. To my knowledge, R&R pays more for no violation roadside inspections than any carrier in the country. We pay $200 for a level 1 inspection, we pay $150 for a level 2 inspection, and we pay $100 for a level 3 inspection. The reason we pay so much is because we know that it takes extra effort to make sure you and your vehicle are ready for a roadside inspection, and this is our way of rewarding them for taking the time to do what needs to be done. And I would also like to remind them that both drivers on a team operation get this bonus. They don't split this bonus as most companies would do. Both drivers get a full bonus.
Well, David, that all sounds really good. Folks, that's all the time we have today. I want to thank you, David, for coming on the show today. My next question for you is, will you come back soon?
I would love to, Howie. This is a really great way to get this information out to our drivers, and I'm looking forward to doing more of this in the future.
Now, on a personal note, I want to thank all the R&R drivers for allowing me to be a part of your family. I also want to remind you that each of these shows are now on R&R's website. Just select News from the main menu bar, click Audio Podcast. And if you get time, why don't you share one of the shows with a friend? Until next time, I'm your host, Highway Howie, and from all of us at R&R, keep driving safe.